Hey, what's up? I'm Pascal from Orangepixel. Welcome to another video. Last week we did a Q&A and I had a lot more questions that just couldn't fit in that video. Now, a lot of those questions were pretty good questions and they came from regular viewers. So I figured we're gonna do a Q&A part 2, which is this video. But don't worry, it's the last Q&A of the year. Unless there are a lot more questions, no, we can just push it to the next year, I guess. Last Q&A of the year, some good questions. Hopefully some good answers after the intro. So starting with the first question, what did you do as a career prior to becoming a full-time indie dev? I was actually working at a company that creates business-to-business software. And in this case, it was software for employment agencies. So when you go to an employment agency looking for a job, they enter all your information and then they combine that with all the job applications and openings they have and matches all that stuff. So we created the software that handles that and manages that and is tracking all of that. Now, early on, I liked that job, but over time, a lot of the creative decisions of how to implement stuff and how to build stuff were suddenly moving to somebody else because he had a higher education and I don't know, he got to do all the designing and then I just had to program the code and there was a lot of creativity sucked out of the job. So it was just, it became a sucky job. So 20 years later, I'm now a game developer. I kind of rolled into that because I quit the job and had nothing but a lot of time on my hands and started creating games. So that's how I started and rolling into this. From Capiche Games, another question, which part of the development process do you like the least? I don't think there is anything I don't really like the least, or I can't really name anything. Save game, load game stuff is hard to implement sometimes because you have to figure out if you're saving all the data that's needed. So that can be a bit of a pain, but it's not really that I don't like it. It's just some things are more annoying than others. But you have to mix up those things a little bit as you work and plan stuff so that you don't do all the stupid, boring, uninteresting stuff at the end. But you kind of mix it in with the fun stuff. So that's that. So next question, do you do much prototyping when you have any idea or a game or just go for it? Well, yes, I just go for it, but that's pretty much the prototyping stage, kinda. You have an idea, you jump into it. I don't do design documents because I think you can design a lot of stuff on paper and you can put a lot of time into that. But then when you start building it, you will run into other things that you just couldn't design for or think about. And of course, if you have a bigger team, at some point you want some sort of design document so everybody knows what to work on and when to work on it. But if you're just starting a prototype and if you're just a couple of people working on the game, just go for it, dive in and see where it ends. And try to come up with the core game loop and see if that's fun enough. Because if that's not fun, you probably have to abandon the game. Next question. Any past experience take on backlog bundles or cross promo with other devs in the same genre? I have had games in bundles, like the big bundles, a couple of humble bundles and a couple of other bundles, and there's a lot of bundles. The thing with bundles is it devalues your game a lot. So yeah, I try to steer clear from those bundles. Especially the smaller ones, and right now I don't think there are many big bundles. Of course, you can also do them on Steam and on itch.io. Tried a couple of those here and there. On Steam, it's apparently more interesting if you're about to release a game, or if you have a game that's released, find a game developer that's about to release a game and link up with them for a bundle, because then it will get your game shown in the light of the release from the other developer, if that still makes sense. I hope it does. So on Steam there are some interesting things, but I've never tried those, or not in that way. We'll have to try it at some point though. All right, a couple of serious questions now. Do you find YouTube as a great source of funding and reliable income for your indie studio? No, honestly, I think I'm making like roughly $50 per month from YouTube. I'm not doing this for income, pretty much. I am doing it because I like it. First of all, I like creating videos like this. I wasn't planning on it, just had a little bit of time, figured let's go for it, dive into it. I don't need a lot of planning, I'm just doing it pretty much on a whim, and I like that. So if you don't like YouTube, don't even start on it, because it's going to be very rough to keep it up. Do it every week. For YouTube, you need to do it regularly, or you'll lose subscribers or interest from people. For the money, it's not interesting. There are here and there some sponsorship deals, but honestly, you only usually get software or hardware or gadgets or stuff, and not really hard cash. So even that isn't really interesting. The thing that is interesting: subscribers, audience, community, you guys, pretty much. Even though a lot of you are other game developers, that doesn't matter, because just like me, you also play games. And there is just a certain awareness out there that if you're talking about your game every week, every month on your own channel, people will know about it. And when you then try to sell that game or launch it or release it, people will know it and remember you, and hopefully they like you, and they might actually buy it. So there is certain value in building up a community on YouTube. I just think that if you don't like YouTube and if you want to try and earn money from it, it's not the best platform to do those things. You really need to be into it and then see where it goes and where it leads. Now, there are a couple of other YouTube game developers that also have a channel. Their game launches have just seen so many wishlists and such big launch. And even Gauntlet of Power that I released a few weeks ago, I think it did much better and got a lot of positive reviews early on because of my videos. So that is the value that YouTube adds, but it's pretty much comparable to having a good Twitter or X community or Discord community, or something that pretty much has a lot of people that are interested in you and your games come together. And for me, YouTube is a big one, but I also have my Discord. I am pretty much everywhere. So that's hopefully the answer to that question. Now, Thiago had another important question. Is Orangepixel and your stability in risk if a released game seriously flops? Biggest fear when jumping into game dev. Yeah, totally understand that. Let's get serious. That goes for pretty much every business you'll undertake or do. As soon as you start being self-employed and you do your own thing, you're also the only responsible person to make it all work. There's not going to be a paycheck if the company is going down or doing terrible. There's not going to be extra money because you're the only person there. So there's of course the safety of a paycheck from a boss versus the freedom you have being your own boss. And the risks of that are if something fails, you're the only one capable of fixing it. That also means that if a game fails, you have to prepare for those things. You have to make sure that your business can still actually go even if a game fails. Sometimes that can be hard, especially if a couple of games fail or if you take way too long to create your next game. Regulator City, anybody? It's coming. I'm working on it a lot. But you have to prepare for those things, and that's pretty much doing business. A lot of people dive into indie game development thinking they're gonna be a game developer, but that's not all. You're pretty much running a business. You have to think about everything around it and trying to come up with other sources of income and revenue, and trying to make sure that if a game fails, you can still somehow maybe turn that game into another game and sell that. Maybe that will do better. Maybe you can still try to find people to play the game and keep pushing it and try to keep marketing it and push updates. Or maybe you'll find other stuff to do, like work for other people in between your own stuff. So do commission work, create art assets or create code or create whatever. Use the skills you have and try to make money with that. You don't have to focus just on your games. Try to build everything around it as a business. The freedom of running your own business, for me, that's just so important. That even though there are risks and every now and then it's very scary, I think it's still worth it. So yeah, if a game fails, I think I can still keep pushing the next game. But yeah, that risk is just always there. It's not gonna go away. All right, yeah, you also might have noticed there's no computer, no PC here in my office. I've been working downstairs for a couple of weeks now, couldn't get into the flow of things after the vacation. So just had change a scenery, I guess. So I'm working downstairs and it's been working very well for my creative process. So an office is nice to have, but every now and then changing it up is also very nice. Moving on to the next question. Physical releases for indies seems like way too much work and cost without a publisher, especially. Physical releases, still dreaming of seeing my own game in a store, but I also know that it's pretty much getting impossible to do these days. Physical releases are just less and less. Game stores in the Netherlands, there are less and less and fewer, and I know that's pretty much going on everywhere. Also, just a physical Switch version, I know that to get those cards, you can only get them at Nintendo. You have to buy them at like bulk, so 2,000 or 3,000 of them, I think. Not even sure if that's... I remember those numbers somehow, and I know it's very costly, and just to make that back is gonna be a pain. That's why all these limited run games and all the other... There are a couple of other super rare games, I think. They do release physical games, but they add a lot of stuff around it, and they make it a very limited edition, so that there is more rush to it. Also, they are handpicking just the most successful games who have already built up a community digitally, and that community will hopefully then rush in and buy those physical limited editions. So it's not really, I don't think it's very much interesting. So I don't think it's interesting for most indie game developers. I have been working on certain things and I've been looking into partnerships, but it's a pain and it's nearly impossible to do for most of us. And cost-wise, I think you're not gonna make a lot of money from it either. So it's not really something to look into or spend too much time on. For marketing, what do you think is the #1 top use of time? Which marketing avenue is vital? All of the above. There was no above. All of the marketing options you have available, and marketing and promotion is just constantly talking about your game, making videos, making trailers, making GIF images that you can post on social media, making interesting pictures or photographs of you working on the game, post them on Insta, talk about it in length on Facebook, wherever you can go, make short little videos on TikTok. Try it all and post on Reddit and hope you don't get banned or deleted, or try it all pretty much. Some of them will work for a certain game, others might have more difficulty for another type of genre game. It really changes completely depending on the type of game and the type of audience you're looking for. So try it all. There is no single one that you have to focus on and that will get you all the attention you need. You need to just try it all. But I think I just mentioned that already. Okay, so fun question. What genre of music do you enjoy? What's your current favorite band? I don't have a current favorite band. I don't think so. I listen to a lot. I listen to pop music, top 50 Spotify, radio, top music, popular music, and pretty much everything you hear on the radio that's modern and current. I kind of like most of it. So I'm very easy in that. I don't have particular stuff. No, don't have anything particular. There are bands and things I listen to every now and then, and there's also old bands, and there's a lot of Dutch musicians I listen to because Dutch pop music just got a lot better in the last couple of decades. It was terrible folk-like music, and that wasn't really my thing, and it wasn't the thing for most Dutch people. But over time we got more and better Dutch songs or Dutch lyrics, and it's a lot better now. So I like pop music and Dutch pop music. Move on to the next question. Final question. What should task manager planner look like, and tips to be more productive task-wise? I use Trello. It's free. It has a simple workspace, but honestly, I know a lot of people that use something else. Try them all out and stick with one and make sure it works for you. I usually have a to-do list, a bug list, and a release list where I move everything that I've done and fixed and added. And then I have often a game idea list where I just put a bunch of game ideas I have. I might work on them, I might ignore them, but that's pretty much where I write down all the ideas. And if I start working on them, I'll have them in the to-do list and move them to the finished release list of the next version of the game. And I think that's pretty much how it works for me. Productive task-wise, that's not so much that you work on certain tasks, but make sure you have tasks to work on. Yeah, I usually make sure there are a couple of to-do things and a couple of bugs that are fairly easy, so that when I start my next day I can quickly get into those things, as they are pretty easy. At the time I was writing down those things in my to-do list, I could probably already have fixed them, but having those simple tasks ready to go and start my day with, that will get you into it and hopefully stay productive. Best way for that is also stop watching YouTube, stop hopping on Discord, stop checking Twitter, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikToks. Focus on your work, pretty much. It's a mind thing. It's not a to-do list or a thing. It's just punish yourself and correct yourself if you're actually straying off the job. If you're starting to move your focus to something else, shut it off. It's not really important. There's not gonna be any new information or funny TikTok videos for you that you really need to watch. It's all a distraction. So correct yourself. And a change of scenery can also help. That's why I haven't been working in my office. I just needed a change of scenery. Working downstairs, that means there are cats moving around me. I can see a lot more from the outside world. And that's just got me in a better place to work on my games, I guess. Every now and then, change up your scenery or change how you sit at your desk or move your desk around the office if you have one. It can help with productivity. And that's the wrap for this video. That's it. All the questions answered. The last Q&A for the year. Next week, I'm probably going to talk about Regulated City, because I've been working on that game for the last couple of weeks, months now, I think even. A lot of things have been changing, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Also, I'm working on the new version for Gauntlet of Power. There's currently a beta test on Steam, so check out Steam. I think the links are downstairs in the description. Balancing some things here and there to make the game more interesting, adding difficulty levels to the game, easy, normal, hard, and of course a couple of new things here and there to spice up the game. More coming to that game, but it's going to be like a in-between type of game development thing now. So maybe a day a week, and the rest of the days are for Regulated City, and juggling that all into 2 great games. That's it for this video, because I'm starting to ramble again. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below, hop on the Discord, come say hi, check out my games. Please, if you want to support me in this YouTube venture and me throwing all this knowledge, experience into the lens, please check out my games. That will help a lot. They are often also discounted and on sale. And that's it for this week's video. Bye.